pennies, and they're not making it anymore. How about that? It's costing them too much. Hang on to those. I'm not saying you got to go out and buy pure silver and all that. I mean, everybody's situation is different. We got to keep our preps up, our provision preps up first, the water and all that kind of stuff. Right. But something to consider. Other tangible, things of value, your land, our homes, even our automobiles. Let's keep them up. We got to keep them up. I know around our house we're trying to do little things here and there for the upkeep, things that we can do ourselves first before we have to hire help. Little things like that, it adds up. And with a home, land, there's always something to do. There's always something you can improve or clean or upkeep, the upkeep, right? The maintenance. It just helps its value. So things like that, think about it. Now, the authorities, the government is going to tell you, and that's all I go, the dollar's doing great. Dollar's doing great. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a financial expert, but it doesn't look like it's doing great to me when it buys less and less. And we see the metals going through the roof just about. So that doesn't jive with me personally. Now, I personally believe it doesn't matter if you have somebody of the red persuasion or the blue persuasion in office. This is happening. This is happening. It's been in motion for a while now. So it is happening. Definitely. This is real. If you have a job, consider for yourself fortunate. If you have a good job, pays decent, you are fortunate indeed. Do what you can to keep it. I know layoffs are increasing here in 2026. Expedia, UPS, Amazon, Nike, just a few big names that are already doing layoffs into this year already. Amazon, thousands, UPS, 30,000 jobs. It's just the beginning. And that's not counting the medium-sized companies with some size that don't have the big name that you're going to hear in the media or just out there. It's not counting them where they're doing a lot. They're doing layoffs where they can. Trying to increase their profits. They're reduce their number of employees, their expenses. So, if you have a two-income household, try to get it to where you're operating as if you're only getting one income, and do that accordingly. Of course, let's do what we can to pay down debt. And let's keep up our preparations as we can, as we are able. Like I said, especially the things like your home and land, keep the value up as much as possible. Think about that. Think about those things. Let's keep our preparations going. Let's focus. Let's focus within our wagon circle. We get thrown around so much and keeping up with news and such about what's going on in this state and that state and over on that side of the world, where I think really the priority should be our faith first, our spiritual readiness, but priority beyond that would be, closer in, my home, my area, my community, my street, what's going on my street. Pay attention to what's going on around your neighborhood, and just beyond that. That's a good place to start. Those are just things on my mind. I'm going to go ahead and go to a passage. Like I said, I'm not making this one real long. I had a busy day in my day job. Just haven't been able to keep up with a lot of stuff. I'm sure something is happening that I missed out on. I'm sure y'all can remind me in the comments, but please feel free to do that. But I'm going into Psalm Psalm chapter 143. Yeah, chapter 143, start with verse 10. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. Let your good spirit lead me on level ground. For the sake of your name, Lord, revive me. In your righteousness, bring my soul out of trouble, and in your faithfulness, destroy my enemies and eliminate all those who attack my soul. For I am your servant. Amen. Amen. That's just laying it all out there, asking for his guidance. Light the path before me. Let your good spirit lead me on level ground. Not Joe down the road, not Jane over here. Him first. The Lord is who we follow. And we strive to be like our Savior Christ. Jesus Christ be his hands and feet. This country, y'all, is in trouble. We talk about it often, I know. We're so divided. I think we're more divided now than we were in 2020. Y'all think about it. And it's easy to get caught up in it, isn't it? It's very easy. Like I said in my last video, I want no harm done to Americans, regardless of their beliefs, their political persuasions. I don't want harm to them. We're still Americans. Are we? But are we? But the main thing to focus on is, like I said, your circle, your wagon circle, your wagon, your property, and our Savior. Because really, at the end of the day, right, we're really citizens. If we look beyond this little short life, we are citizens of Christ. Thankful. And one day that'll be ratified in heaven. We'll be there. And look forward to that too. But yeah, let's be safe. Let's be careful out there. Be alert as you're going out and about. Let's keep working hard and working on our preparations. Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts on these things. Hit the like button if you like the video. It helps us out. We appreciate it. But again, be safe. Stay close to Jesus. God bless you. I'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the channel. Share, subscribe, like this video. Make sure you put your comments in the bottom. A lot of things coming out about the financial situation. They seem to be getting worse by the day, as we can see that with silver and gold going up. Now, here's the big thing. Now, last night I made a mistake on the Holly Two Moons. At the end of that, what I got in that dream was I was screaming out about Holly. I was saying, Holly, Holly, 2 moons, 4, 5, 6. That's what I was saying in the dream. And I said it quite a few times. I was saying, Holly, Holly, 2 moons, 4, 5, 6. That's what I was saying. I just wanted to correct that. All right, so Porter Stansberry, the founders of MarketWise, One Blade, Porter and Company, says that this is the good before I told you it was coming. Stocks will soar with lower rates up until the moment the run of the dollar causes a collapse on the bond market. That's what we're looking at. The news coming out today that China and Japan are selling their bonds off at record paces. If the 10-year goes above the Biden bust level, 5%, watch for a run on the banks in America. That's what you're going to see. Now, why would he talk about a run on the U.S. dollar when the run on the Bank of America? Well, the International Monetary Fund talked about this morning, and the remarks are even more worrisome. The International Monetary Fund is preparing for the possibility of a rapid sell-off of the U.S. dollar assets. Its managing director said today. But the most serious reprisal of the situation we're sliding into fast comes from social media X account No Limit Games. The guy has successfully and publicly called the last three market tops and bottoms. His track record shows his analysis is spot on. Urgent, the countdown to a total collapse has begun. We've already told you it is. I think this is why Jesus has been doing this like he has. The government is days away from a shutdown and the White House is in shambles. Why? Because they lost the lead. They absolutely hate what they can't control, and they know where there's no way to fix it. We told you that when we tried to get there's no way to fix this. They'll try to feed us the usual lies about how everything will be fine, but they'll realize the public does not fall for this anymore because we have proof. We can see it. Lies only work on the people that basically don't go do their research, and it doesn't last long. Used to be they could do that. Now there's too much out there we can go check. The patterns are screaming 2008, but way worse. The Fed's emergency repo facilities just saw a massive spike. Private lenders are refusing to lend to each other. This is exactly what happened weeks before the Lehman Brothers collapsed. The S&P Gold 500 gold ratio just broke below a key support level. Last time we saw this was right before the 2008 crash. This is where the housing markets, the banks, and everything crashed. We're about to see one even way worse than 2008. Sham rule, which triggers a recession warning. This is not recession, people. It's depression, like we've never seen. When the 3-month average unemployment rate rises at 0.5, this is why they quit putting that out there. They don't want nobody to see it. To the 12-month low, has been flirting with danger. Has been flirting with its danger zone at 0.35 to 0.50 through the end of 2025. Now, most younger people won't know until they wake up completely broke. That's what's about to happen. Over $800 billion in commercial real estate matures this year. With rates still high, these bond buildings are worth 40% less than their loans on them. A lot of people's going to lose their buildings. Add to the chaos at the top, January 11, 2026, the DOJ opened a criminal investigation into Powell regarding his testimony on those $2.5 billion Fed renovations. Powell has already relieved a video calling it the punishment for resisting the White House and its interest rates. See, when he went after Powell, it was over the Fed. We knew then it was going to crash. That was a sign of it. They're putting it on him. It's not on him. It's on the government. They caused this mess. It wasn't the Fed. Credit card delinquency rates 90-plus days past due are hitting levels not seen since 2011. Even worse, the flow into serious delinquency for auto loans and credit cards have spiked. It's almost $19 trillion. It's unsustainable. I've said this. There's no golden age coming, people. It's a complete collapse. This is the Great Reset. Do not be fooled. That's exactly what we're looking at. This is where the world will go to one world government, one world money. This is setting it up. The American dollar is about to be gone. This is what's coming, 100%. Business bankruptcy filings increased by nearly 12% 1 year leading to 2026. Middle market companies, the backbone of the economy, are facing a wall of debt that they can't pay. But the real story is the de-dollarization. The USD used to be the world's reserve. It's not anymore. It's crashing by the day. That's why gold and silver going through. That tells you everybody's quit using the dollar. And they don't want you to know that. They want you to be dumb. They want you fighting with each other. What's happening in Minnesota? That's what they want. They want you fighting so you're not seeing that they failed. With the government unable to afford $1 trillion in interest payments, like I said, they can't pay it. And the world knows that. So Russia, China, Japan, everybody's scrambling to get out of the dollar. They know we can't pay we know we can't pay the credit or the debt. They know it. So they know America is going to sink. This is even worse because our enemies know right now any little attack on us, it's the end. So be prepared for it. We know it's coming. Basically, they have no plan. I'm not trying to scare you. But see, we can see this stuff. Like I said, gold and silver tells the story. But you must get rid of your USD. The biggest wealth transfer in human history is coming fast. This is going to help you. When we leave the tribulation, gold and silver are worthless too. He later said that just got off the phone with a friend in Washington, D.C. The United States is in big trouble. He showed me the data, and I couldn't even believe my eyes. I'm relieved everything I'll release everything in a few hours. Long story short, the Democrats are promising to shut down the government at the end of the month through the budget process again. I'm not certain they can actually do that again this time, but they're publicly saying they will. Today is January 27th. The shutdown would be January 31st, 4 days from now. If the shutdown does take place, the statistics are shut down. No information from the government company productivity. I'll get it out here in a minute. Tired. Financial system health, and like the financial markets will be flying blind. Then there's the Robert F. Kennedy said on the Sean Ryan show regarding BRICS expansion and risk of free fall scenario for the U.S. economy. At least 22 countries are now a part of it. The whole premise of the destabilization is to get the American dollar to get it off balance. That's what they're doing. This is a world attack on us. People, our government knows that, and there's nothing they can do. They're going to try to keep us stupid so we're not looking at it. We have $34 trillion in debt right now, and within 5 years, 0.50 out of every dollar we collect taxes is going to go to servicing the debt within 10 years, 100%. Like I said, they think they got that time. They don't have it. That's what we're here to tell you. When this thing crashes this time, it leads into the tribulation. That's why we tell you the rapture's here and to be ready for it. Now, they're not going to believe that, but they're going to see it with their own eyes. That dark, cloudy day, all this happens. The dollar collapses. The country collapses. See, they're telling everybody this great time is coming. Tariffs are going to bring everything back. It's all a lie. They know it's a lie. They're feeding these people and they believe it. But they're going to get a rude awakening very, very soon. Reports of an explosion in Iran's nuclear facility. Reports have emerged of a possible explosion in Iran's nuclear facility, raising concerns of discussions in Washington about potential military actions. The reported incident comes in a time of heightened tensions, with U.S. President Trump said this is also part of this. Remember, this is to keep Americans' minds off of what's about to happen to the economy, because it's going to crash. Details surrounding the reported explosion remain limited. Initial accounts suggest the blast may have been targeted at a nuclear-related site. Now, I'm telling you right now, with everything that we're seeing with the economy, expect a 9/11 or Pearl Harbor event. That is what's coming. State-linked media in Iran offered little clarification, leaving uncertainty about whether the event was the result of an accident, sabotage, or external attack. The report surfaces against the backdrop of long-standing disputes over Iran's nuclear program. Western governments have repeatedly accused Tehran of pursuing nuclear weapons capabilities, a claim Iran has constantly denied, insisting its program is intended to solely for peaceful energy purposes. Like I said, can't believe anything comes out from them. Doomsday Clock says apocalypse is closer than ever. I can verify that. It's very close. We're about to get out of here. On January 27th, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists announced that the Doomsday Clock has been moved to 85 seconds to midnight, marking it the closest it's ever been. According to U.S. Day, the annual update reflects scientists' assessment of worsening external risks. They know what we know with the economists. They know it. They keep it hid from Americans, but we know exactly what's coming. This stuff brings World War. Midnight represents the imagined global catastrophe, a point of no return. We call it the dark, cloudy day, and it is 100% coming. Most people won't see it coming, and by the time they do figure it out, it's going to be too late. The looming expiration of the New START treaty, which ends any time now. That I've said this over. I know Nate's been talking about it a lot on Canadian Prepper. This is the only treaty that's kept the world from blowing up, and Satan now has officially got rid of it. He's been wanting to get rid of it for a long time. Here, any day now, it will be gone forever. And then any little incident will cause the end of the world. That's why I said, that's why we know what dispensation we're in. All you gotta do is look at the stories. It tells you where we are. Beyond nuclear and all the dangers, the bulletin emphasized the role of advanced technologies, shaping risk, rapid development of artificial intelligence. All this part of this. All this is setting up the tribulation. It's all there. All you gotta do is look. The people will ignore it until the end. East coast of the U.S. heads up nor'easter this coming weekend. I'm hoping this thing does not hit, but I will put out the thing that they're watching. Now, the National Weather Service has released a composite of the reliable weather models for supercomputers used to forecast weather. It predicts a dangerous nor'easter. Now, Brian Hall, y'all, he's pretty good at this. He's saying we're not going to know until 2 days before we're watching it. Below is the composite released today. It shows the storm coming up the East Coast, battered With snow, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and of course me, Delaware. And if this thing hits, I'm never getting out here in spring, and I've just had enough of it. It predicts a very heavy snow, or at least 12 hours to New Jersey and New York after continuing north through Boston. What is making the storm so dangerous is pressure inside the center, projected to be only 963 millibars. Like I said, we're not going to know that until a day before. We can't predict the weather this far out. Explosions, we talked about that. Let's see. Trump threatens 25% tariffs on another one of our partners today, on South Korea, with failure to enact a trade deal. Like I said, he's going after all of our friends. So it's all part of this. Iran threatens to sink the U.S. Abraham Lincoln as the Middle East edges closer to a catastrophic slowdown. The United States has gathered more firepower in the Middle East than we've ever seen before, even more than Desert Storm. So it exceeds everything we've witnessed during Operation Desert Storm. It exceeds everything that we've witnessed during the war in Afghanistan, and exceeds everything we know about the war in Iraq. That doesn't necessarily mean the war is imminent. I think sometime in February is when we're going to see this. Stuff in February and in March. President Trump could ultimately decide not to pull the trigger, but without a doubt, at this moment, we are exceedingly close to the catastrophic slowdown and showdown in the Middle East. It has been reported that the U.S. Abraham Lincoln has officially arrived in the Middle East. Now, I found that very curious. I'm going to tell you, it reminds me of the dream I had last summer about the 9/11 event. Now, what I was told when I was in that mall, it's funny that they brought up two of those places in that article. We're going to read back through that, and God just said, Chris, you need to go back and read it, because he knows I'm aggravated. I've been snowed in for 4 days, and I have no patience for anything right now. I'm tired, I'm cold, can't get out of here, and now I'm hearing about another winter storm, so I'm not in the best of moods. But in that dream, I was in a mall. Only stores was open was the UK and American stores. And in the dream, I heard very clearly another 9/11 event, except this one will not be Afghanistan and Iraq. And that's exactly what it is. So let me go back and read that. That's exactly what was told to me. Right, there it is. Middle East that has ever been seen before exceeds everything we've witnessed about Operation Desert Storm, Afghanistan, and Iraq. That's exactly what I heard in the dream. So that tells me this 9/11 event is here. That's, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that. So that's here, and that makes sense in the time we're in, because we're headed right to spring, so expect it. This is what probably triggers us going home, because it's that, with the economy, we know it's coming, because they've got to keep everybody's minds off everything crashing. Because, see, they've been telling a lie, and to cover up that lie, they're going to have to go to war, because they've been telling the American people all out lies. Okay, everything's going to be great, we're bringing everything back, the tariffs are making tons of money, all of it's lies. And we're about to find that out. In addition of the carrier in the region, comes as Trump warned Thursday that the U.S. is sending an armada towards Iran, following a nationwide protest in the country, where thousands of demonstrators have been killed. Some of us have been carefully tracking the movements of the U.S. Abraham Lincoln in recent days. One of the protests in Iran got really crazy. The carrier was redeployed from the Indian Ocean and the maximum capacity of 90 aircraft on it. The Nimitz-class aircraft carrier is hauling 5 squadrons of strike fighters with a max capacity of 90. These include FA-18 Super Hornets, F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters, the Growlers, Jammers, along with the Osprey, and so many others. Of course, the U.S. Abraham Lincoln is now not traveling alone. It's always going to have its strike group with it. It is being accompanied by 3 guided missile destroyers and fully loaded Tomahawk cruise missiles. But the thing is, today, Iran literally put out propaganda videos of sinking the Abraham Lincoln. So once again, keep the young men and women on these ships in your prayers, because they're definitely put in some harm's way at this point. Okay? All right, let's see. Somewhere else I need to go. I'll figure out where that may have been. A lot of things talking about getting your money out of things, but like I said, it ain't gonna make much difference. When this thing goes down, when it does go down, it's not going to go down until we're getting ready to get out of here. So don't let that freak you out. I do believe we already know it's going to crash completely when the rapture happens, because that's when they're going to go to a worldwide money. That's already been set up through digital currencies. That's all ready to go. As I said, the mark of the beast is ready to go at any time. That's why I'm saying we're about to leave here at any time. People don't believe that, but they're about to find that out the hard way. EU and Indiana have a strategic trade deal called the mother of all deals. That's going on. The exploding price of silver shows that we have reached a critical turning point in human history, and gold. It's a sign that this is about to switch over to the no more government, no more money. It's a sign of it. Because if you know what dispensation you're in, you know exactly what's about to happen. Trust the gospel. 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4, Jesus died on the cross for our sins, past, present, future. He died, was buried, rose again on the third day. We went through scriptures, trust in Jesus and Jesus alone, confirm everything through him. Do not take your eyes off him. The rapture's here. It will happen anytime. Do not hang your head. God is warning people. And I'm telling you, it looks like the next couple of months, God is doing a lot of warning. So I do believe things are going to start to really fall apart, even more than they are right now. Just like this storm right here broke every record we've ever known. It's only going to get worse from here on out. Those are looking for Jesus, and that's what this channel's for. We're looking for Jesus. Get excited. It's very, very close. Now, a lot of people ask me what we need besides Bible, stuff like that. Don't send anything here. I am completely frozen, and until it's going to take 2 weeks, and if we get this other storm on top of it, I might not ever get here. Rapture will probably happen before I even get out of here. That's how bad it is here. I can't even walk in my car. So just definitely keep everything until I can tell you that UPS is not going to get back in here. Let's go. I love each and every one of you. If I don't see or hear from you again, I'll see you home.
Gunshots, always wondering what we're supposed to do. How we live on this earth, how we're supposed to improve. Every day's a new challenge. You either face it or run from it and maintain balance. My homies tell me that they be inspired by Mac. I tell them all my works come from a higher power. 25th hour and I'm still on it. Stays on it, flow still pouring. It's like that.
Yeah, grab my nephew by his shoulder, little bit older. Told him life a battlefield, we need more soldiers, more leaders, God seekers, blacker than Don Cheetah. But you can learn a lot from these features. Grow the game up. What don't kill us can now phase us. History been written on us. Let's erase it. Let's change it. This brotherhood bond is so sacred. Trying to build off the basics. And I was taught, yo, my brother said you inspired me, black. I told him that my vision comes from a higher power. 25th hour and I'm still on it. Stays on it, flows still potent. Gotta love it.
I'm awake before the sun's up. I gotta get my ones up. Gotta go to work to add money to my trust funds. Funds ain't easy to come around these days. I gotta get money, just sounds so cliche. Top billing, Mighty J Mac and my main man Black and Offbeat in the building. We ain't no joke, you can tell Rock him. We a microphone duo. Big brother beat like sumo. J-La, most definite. We encourage y'all to stay intelligent. The youth needs to stay humble. The negative powers ready to rumble. Life is like living in the jungle. My homies tell me that they be inspired by Mac. I tell them all my works come from a higher power. 25th hour and we still on it. Stays on the flow, still pouring. You got the props.
World system. Get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, yo, get out of it, hey, get out, oh, get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, get out of it, hey, get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, yo, get out of it, hey, get out, yo, get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, yo, get out. Listen to me right quick. The new world order is not new at all. The plan's been in motion since right after man's fall. The kingdom of the first Babylon is proof that Satan wants to make y'all look like a spoof. Call me crazy, but I find it dumb odd that the leaders of the whole world worship the sun god. That sun god is none other than Lucifer, accompanied by Nephilim giants in defiance to El Shaddai, the one true Elohim. He's gonna snatch the evil ones to mozzarella cream. Until then, yo, we gotta detach from this mystery Babylon. Yo, seriously, we need to get out of it. Hey, get out of it, man. Yo, get out of it. Hey, get out. Oh, get out of it. Hey, get out of it, man. Look, get out of it. Hey, get out. Yo, get out of it. Hey, get out of it, man. Yo, get out of it. Hey, get out. Yo, get out of it. Hey, get out of it, man. Yo, get out. Listen to me right quick. We don't have much time to jerk around, cause Mystery Babylon is the devil's playground. The end is coming faster than the super greyhound, and his time is running short. He's going way down. But before he goes, he wants you to die with him. What better way than to use the lie system? The system that tells you that there's many ways to heaven, but there's actually only one, that's Yahushua HaMashiach. So get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, yo, get out of it, hey, get out, oh, get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, get out of it, hey, get out, yo, get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, yo, get out of it, hey, get out of it, hey, get out of it, man, yo, get out. Listen to me right quick. Well, for those who have no idea what I just said, Yahushua HaMashiach, that's the true Hebrew name of the Messiah. Just throwing that out there.
Mega Man? You bet, the one and only. I'm your custom net nav programmed by your dad.
I said net battle, but then again, you're the only person on Earth without his own PET.
I had salmon as a pet when I was a youngin'.
No, PET.
Keep your eyes open, Rush. I don't trust these guys as far as I can kick them.
Kick 'em!
And I gotta say, we've got you to thank, Mega Man.
Hey, come on. I didn't take on old Smoke and Choke all by myself. You came up with all the moves.
So you'll always be there to help me no matter what?
Just ask.
Well, in that case, you can do my homework for tomorrow and make it snappy.
You'll never be an adventurer or scientist if you don't do it yourself.
Hey, have you been talking to my mom or what? I don't have to take this from you. You can be reprogrammed.
Nice try, Len. Better get started.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is still, why my voice pitch highlighted? I don't know what the hell happened here. Good evening, good evening. There we go. The hell with all that? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Y'all didn't hear that. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is still Tuesday, January 27th. 2026. Back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Before I go on with this topic, somebody please tell January to slow the hell down. 3 more days. This month is over. Didn't it just start yesterday? I just said January 27th. I could have sworn I was just saying January 1st. Happy New Year! Let's go get ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to see Merry Christmas. Anyway, on with this topic. I was watching YouTube and I saw some clips that were from TikTok. And it threw me for a loop. I couldn't believe I heard what these people were saying. They were talking about the biggest threat to America right now. The biggest threat to America right now, you would say illegal immigration, a terrorist attack, the economy, just a list of things you will come up with before you come up with what these people say. When I ask you to think of when you think of the biggest threat to America, what would you think of? I'm gonna see how many of y'all will come up with what you about to find out. What these people say is the biggest threat to America. See, if you ask me, big one, what do you think the biggest threat to America is? I would say terrorism. I would say being sold out, treason. The bad economy. Russia, China. You know, the usual suspect you would consider to be a threat to America. But oh no, these people see something else. These people made me look at another threat. And when you think about it, a lot of the chaos and confusion we're dealing with right now is based on the actions of these people. It's the illegal immigrants, though. See, I would think about that too, man. The illegal immigration, the gangs and the drugs being brought in. Oh, that's a threat to America. You would think, you know what I'm saying? Check this out.
Didn't see this coming. Y'all ready?
Are we ready yet as a nation to have a conversation about white liberal women weaned on Starbucks, The Hunger Games, Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey, who are out there on the streets, live action role playing as if they are characters in A Handmaid's Tale? This is getting absolutely ridiculous. They're buying in to these lies perpetuated by these Democrat activist elected officials who want to make sure that these women always dutifully head to the ballot box, head to the polls to vote for Democrats, and have convinced them that they're living in some sort of authoritarian Marxist matrix. It's stunning to me that this is where we've landed, that one of the biggest threats politically right now are white liberal women.
This is a huge threat to the society, huge threat to America, huge threat to kids, huge threat to our future, huge threat to growth. You just gotta wish people can see reality for what it is. And not to just be confused, not to be manipulated. I didn't see this coming.
No grounding, and this is what you get. And now you see like the aftermath of this whole like litany of deranged liberal white females. I feel like they just keep proving my point.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, I've seen it, across social media, dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and it's really come to light even since Ukraine flags in the front yard. But the sentiment that's repeated is, the most dangerous thing in America is a college-educated suburban white woman in her 40s.
White liberal women are the most dangerous species in the United States. I repeat, liberal white women are the most dangerous species in the United States.
Liberal white women complain that it's too dangerous to walk alone at night, and then they sign petitions to release violent criminals out of prison.
I'm already getting comments from people saying there are other options. Okay, fine. Okay, there are some other options. But tell me right now. You tell me. You claim there's so many other options. So many other options besides food stamps. Show me the list. Put that shit in my hand. Put it here. Come on. You want to use that argument? Oh, there's other options. Hand it here.
There's no other option
Provide
except
it to them.
food stamps. Ain't that a
Be a decent fucking human being and help people. You know that there's all these other options? Help people. Why don't you show these people these other options?
Job.
Instead of just sitting here claiming, oh, there's other options. Provide it to me. Put that shit in my hand. Drop it hard.
This guy gonna pretty much say the same thing that I'm saying. Out of all the things that I thought would be a threat to America, out of all the things you probably would have thought, you never would have thought this. But this is more true than ever before. Think about it. Again, as I started this video off, if you would have asked me what's the biggest threat to America right now, I would have said Russia, China, the economy, illegal immigration, crime, drugs. I could have named off a list of things before I ever would have thought of this. The white liberal woman. And it seems I'm not alone.
Cannot celebrate Independence Day while simultaneously supporting a man that is actively trying to dismantle our democracy and undermining the Constitution at every turn.
You know, like most sane people, I've entertained the thought of what would lead to America's utter destruction. What would it be? Right? Would it be extremist jihad? Would it be zombie apocalypse? Quote unquote alien invasions, which is just essentially demonic deception? Or would it be, communism? Some sort of ideology that would seep into this country and erode it from the inside out. Now, what I did not have on my list was the white liberal woman. Out of all things, I never could have imagined that Ashley, Jessica, and Rebecca would be the very thing that would utterly destroy this country. Now, that being said, I've also sometimes thought to myself or just envisioned what would America have looked like if the Constitution had not been written by, those old white men, even though these are like 20-something-year-old white guys who are out there just getting it done. But no, what would have happened if instead of the founding fathers, it had been, well, not necessarily the founding mothers, but the founding white liberal women? And the reason I don't say founding mothers is because white liberal women and motherhood don't exactly go together. It's water and oil. What would our Constitution have looked like if it had been written by Sarah, Amy, and Noah?
So if you guys could change the Constitution in one way, how would you change it?
Her first gov major. I was literally going to say legalize abortion. Maybe abortion law.
I'm sorry, we got to go back to that one right there. We're not just about to skip over that. Okay, so this would definitely be our George Washington. For sure. I'm sure y'all can see it. Yeah, that's our George Washington. Let's continue.
It's abortion. Maybe abortion laws, rights to abortion.
That would have been our Alexander Hamilton, maybe. Token black girl. Oh, Benjamin Franklin.
Like transgender rights to have surgery without necessarily parental consent. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean.
That's definitely Tom. That's Tommy Boy. That's Thomas Jefferson. That's Thomas Jefferson. Yeah. Okay.
You have rights to scream at someone because they choose to change their gender or they love the same things like that.
So should we add trans rights to the Constitution?
Absolutely. Definitely adding in policies that make healthcare more accessible for immigrants as well as people in.
I'm sorry. I think Jefferson might have an Adderall addiction. What is that, folks? What causes this? Do you guys see this?
Accessible for immigrants as well as people in.
Is that just smugness? There's no way just pure smugness can. Wow. That's interesting. Anyway.
Low-income communities.
Okay. So, as you can see, we would have a relatively short constitution if it was indeed written by white liberal women. What would be on this constitution is, number one, the mass slaughtering.
No, you cannot celebrate.
So, what do we learn there? If white liberal women would have wrote the Constitution, the main rights they would have focused on was abortion. To be able to kill your baby. Transgender rights. Be able to have the surgery without having to report to your parents if you're a minor. If a white liberal woman wrote the Constitution. That's what they be focused on. Oh, don't worry about the military and the strong military and laws and no murder and women would have the right to an abortion. That's what they would be focused on. If they were the founding mothers, if they would have wrote the Constitution, That's what would have been on the liberal white woman's mind. I need to be able to have an abortion if I go out here and lay around. If my 8-year-old want to cut his wood off, you should be able to do it without having to tell me. That's the Constitution they would wrote. And now here they are now, 2026. Causing chaos like they've been called in all since they did it. And we overlook it. See, the white man, he's been dealing with it for decades. Well, since the beginning of time. In America, about America, how long the white man didn't have to deal with that white liberal woman. She's the founder of feminism. See, the conservative woman was white or black. The conservative woman was about family, kids, taking care of the home. The liberal woman started out as a white woman, then spread it to the black woman, and made the black woman turn against her man too. The liberal white woman turned against the white man. She wanna go to work, women's live and all that. You know, women's liberation, that was white women. Not all white women. So ladies that hate having to get up and go in the morning, go to work. To all you women that I hear now saying, man, going to work is overrated. Having a job is overrated. To all you women that say that. To all you women that say, man, I wish y'all would have left it alone, let me stay the housewife. I hear a lot of women say that now. Y'all don't want to go to work no more. You don't want to get up in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, having to go to work. Work all day long, they have to come home and cook food. You don't want to do all that no more. What you can say, white liberal women. Because before they came with we want equal. Y'all didn't have to do all that. The man had to go out there in the freezing cold, the rain, all that, to work and provide the roof and everything for you and the kids. And now the white liberal woman came along and said, we should be able to work too. We can do anything a man can do. They got the world with America the way it is now, screwed up. They got America the way a single parent household. See how you got this high divorce rate? It's started. Right? We as black people, we didn't know. Even though we came out of slavery and Jim Crow and all that, we were getting mad. Black women at one time were more likely to be married than a white woman. Y'all didn't know that. Look it up. Not today. I'm talking about before liberalism. Before the white liberal woman poisoned the black woman's mind with liberalism. Before then, all black people were conservative. I know a lot of black people don't know that history. We were not liberal. Liberalism is a mental disorder. It was spread by white liberal women. White men weren't liberal. It was the woman. Satan came through the white woman and spread liberalism. But you never heard that before, hey? Now everything that you can think of that's evil in this world spread from liberalism. Abortion, homosexuality. Everything that is acceptable that's wrong is a liberal concept. Think about it. Abortion, killing the baby, liberal concept. Men marrying men, women marrying women, liberal concept. Anything you can think, releasing criminals, let them loose, they should be having it right. Liberalism. Anything that you can think of that's wrong, promiscuous, whatever you call it, when you just sleeping around. Women, power. Women's empowerment, which means sleeping around. Liberalism. We don't need to be married, get divorced. I can still, it's my body, my choice. I can sleep with whoever I want. Liberalism. Anything that will be considered wrong in the Bible is a liberal concept. Conservatism tells you to follow God, follow His word. Whether you fall short or not, at least try to. Liberalism says you ain't got to listen to all that mess. Live free. Do what you want to do. You want to get high, get drunk, sleep around. You ain't got to get married, have kids out of wedlock. Or if you get pregnant, don't want to have it, kill it. That's liberalism. And it's evil and wicked. I said what I said. And the one who carried that disease, that sickness, is the white liberal woman. She spread it all around the world. She spread it to her own man. Now you got white liberal men running around here soft as hell. Conservative white man, you know what I'm talking about, right? You done dealt with the liberal white woman longer than we have. You done dealt with the liberal white man longer than we have. Ain't they weak? And now here we are, the rest of us are being exposed to it. And now we see what the white, conservative white man had to deal with. Now we got to deal with it too. The wrath of the white liberal woman. The biggest threat to America right now. Get it, got it.
Most High create spirits for vengeance. And sometimes these spirits, they come on people. And begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekahakodash, double honor to the apostles and great millstone who do will. And salutations to the Most High's men in the four corners of the earth, pushing his word, sincerity, and truth. And shalom to the sisters that support and subscribe wholeheartedly to the message of deliverance and salvation of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's your brother Youngman from James, Mississippi, with an intrinsic topic going into the Apocrypha. It states that the Most High created spirits for vengeance. You know, we read in the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach. And these spirits, the Most High utilizes them to render out sore strokes amongst the people. You know, because the people on the earth are the ones that do wicked, you know, especially beginning with your tribes, you know, but the Most High has spirits of vengeance out here for all so-called mankind. And that's why these so-called atrocities, these events that happen, they befall mostly whom? They befall mostly these heathens, and they befall mostly wicked Israelite men and Israelite women. You know, whether it's some type of animal attack, whether it's a downed plane, whether it's a sunken boat, you know, whether it is a tragic car accident, etc., etc. You know, and the Most High even has it to where these people who call themselves demon possessed, you know, in the medical world, they say that people have schizophrenia, you know, but these people are actually demon possessed. And that's why, you know, so-called serial killers, they go out and have those vendettas, you know, and they have those vendettas of death because they have a death spirit on them. They have a death demon on them that's plaguing their mind and telling them to orchestrate and play out those particular horrendous acts. You know, these individuals that are serial rapists, serial murderers, serial killers, you know, even these so-called heathens, these so-called Arab heathens, you know, during the time of the war against terror, they were doing what? They were allegedly, you know, strapping on particular explosive devices and blowing themselves up, all in the name of Allah, all in the name of being a martyr, so to speak. You know? But these spirits that are out here in the earth, we need protection. So we have to pray unto the Heavenly Father to protect us. You know, because how many times do you hear about public events that happen, and then there's this person who just comes in and he just starts just laying out multiple people. And then the scriptures have you think as well, because it states that whoever perished being innocent. So it's almost like, okay, this happened, but whoever died in vain? Whoever died without just cause, justification. So then now it's like, man, you have to be extra careful, because you don't want current sins or past sins to catch you up. And then you ultimately get caught slipping, get caught lacking without the complete armor of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and then here you are, left destitute, left naked, and vulnerable to these elements of the world, in which we're speaking about spirits that were created in vengeance, created for vengeance, and lay on sore strokes. Because the way that the Most High punishes by pain. And then the way that the Most High gets rid of you, he gets rid of you by death, or by pain and then death. You know, and that's also going to come during the time of Jacob's trouble. That's going to come during the time of the Third World's War. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, as it is written. So the safest place to be is in His truth, to where you're clothed with truth, you're under the umbrella of protection of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, where you're watching, you're fasting, you're praying, and you're following the Lamb with us wherever you're going, which in today's time is via the Word, and the Word is being preached and prophesied by the Most High's elect members, the prophets, hopefully elect members of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, prophesying throughout the four corners of the earth, and then yet you still have people that scoff. You have people that come against the truth. You have people that come against you. You have people that make fun of you. You have people who think they have this thing all figured out while you are continuing to walk carefully. You're still practicing, rehearsing, pleasing the Most High to the best of your ability, and then you have a proud fool who acts like they have this thing figured out, and then yet have something ill to say against you. They're gonna have their portion, right, by being taken away by a spirit that was created for vengeance. You know, because these spirits that were created for vengeance were created for the wicked. You know, a spirit for vengeance, it wasn't created for an elect member of the Most High. So therefore, you hopeful elect members out there, you know, you have to continue to do those things that are well pleasing in the sight of the Most High through His only begotten Son. And let these naysayers, let them continue to be naysayers. You know, because when it comes down to it, the Most High said that in their affliction, they shall seek Him early. So many individuals are going to be calling on Lord, Lord. They're going to be calling on God, God. They're going to be screaming out, oh Jesus, Jesus, save me. And first and foremost, those aren't the names of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, nor His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. And secondarily, while there is yet liberty in the earth, they don't look for the Most High's hand. They fan it away. They don't look for the Most High to reach out and touch their shoulder and put them back on the right track. They pull their shoulder away. So guess what the Most High is going to do? He says that He's going to mock. So He's going to mock when their calamity comes. And they will be taken away by these spirits that are created for vengeance. And who will they be able to blame during that time? They won't be able to blame anyone but themselves. Right? And that's why the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, goes into how these wicked, when the wicked of this world, all right, when they look and behold the salvation of the righteous, they're going to be like, man, we fools counted their lives madness. So they look at it as though we're the foolish. But in the end, they're going to be calling themselves fools. Like, man, and we mocked them, we made fun of them. We numbered them amongst the nothings of this world. But yet the whole time they were numbered amongst the children of the Most High power, the sons and the daughters of the Most High Yahweh Shai. You know, because when you think upon the time of the flood, you know, Noah prophesied that the flood was coming. You know, prophesied, and then eventually what? Rain began to fall from the skies. Now in the beginning, they could have been amazed and like, oh wow, you know, something's falling from the sky. This is crazy. But then it continued, then it continued, then it continued. So you know the panic sets in. But at first, the scripture states what? That they were eating, they were drinking, they were marrying and giving into marriage. And he says that this time is going to be just like the time of Noah. They're going to be doing the exact same things, right? Because as it is written, there is no new thing under the sun. So with them doing the exact same things of old, while we're prophesying that fire is going to fall from the skies in the form of these nuclear missiles and these bombs that are going to blast off to completely wipe out Babylon the Great, which is the US of A, hit certain areas in the east, hit certain areas in Europe. And it's going to be an all-out war. And simultaneously, while war is taking place, the Lord is going to return. He's going to return with the angels. Then you're going to see chariots in the skies. Chariots are going to fill the skies. And then these individuals out in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of the Most High's judgment, Yahweh Shabbat, they're going to stop fighting one another, as is written in the book of Revelation, and they're going to turn and look up into the heavens and start trying to fight against Yahweh Shai and the angels. So they're going to break away from shooting at one another and start being of one accord to shoot against the Lord and the angels, which shows and proves that all that are of this world don't like Yahweh Shai. Because for all those nations, those soldiers, to be so fearful of the Lord returning to turn back and fight against him, they don't believe in his salvation. Only the elect believe in his salvation. So while they're doing those things that are damnable and condemnable, they're going to be destroyed right then and there. There won't be any body bags to bring them back in. There won't be any coffins for their burials. All right? They're going to be laid out, and then the Most High is going to call the fowls to a great feast. And what are the fowls? That's where you have your buzzards. That's where you have your eagles. That's where you have your falcons. Okay? Your scavenger birds. And the Most High is going to call them to a great feast because of the death. And death shall be plenty. And then only so-called vile creatures, reptiles, desert-like creatures, are going to be inhabiting this land after that great judgment. You know, once again, these spirits that are created for vengeance. We're living in a time to where, as I mentioned, right, read the book of James, going into on how you are to pray and believing that you receive those blessings even before, you know, you pray to the Most High for them, or even before you receive them. Because you're going to need protection, because when these people continue to lose it more and more, little by little, piece by piece, society is going to continue to break down more drastically. And when society breaks down, you know, you can always take a small event that happens in your inner city or your inner town. What do the people always do during the time of outages or just power outages? What do they do in the time of grocery stores having lack of, meaning the shelves are empty, the shelves are scarce? What do they do during the time to where we had the gasoline shortage? People were in line at the gas station 2, 3, 4 hours. So when society shows signs that comforts are being taken away, people panic. When people panic, they turn into animals, right? And that's where that term dog eat dog comes from, because these people actually turn into beasts. They forget all moral logic, all spiritual logic. They do away with any level of understanding that they once had, and then it becomes survivalists. And you are not on their list to be surviving next to them. So you will have to have the spirit and power and Yahushua with you in order to protect you. Because these spirits of vengeance, yeah, they were created for the wicked, but they shall be amongst them, hopefully elect. I end off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Badash, double honors, and double apostles, and well, I pray that this was edifying. Next time, let's say shalom.
man, something has definitely changed around us, my friends. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. It does feel kind of like we've been living in the Twilight Zone for a while now. People have noticed animals they didn't know existed, and they think it's a Mandela effect. I even saw Andrew Wilson. I should pull that up. Andrew Wilson talking about it. Well, he's the guy that essentially debates with feminists, right? He's talking about Mandela effect. I saw the tweet the other day. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, here we are. We're not going to be talking about this per se. We're actually going to show you a rather curious video of frozen animals and other bizarre things going on around us. Trees exploding, and that's just barely getting started. We got some other weird things. Ghost ships showing up. Weird things in the sky. Everyone keeps recording. But here we have something where Andrew Wilson said, I'm 1000% sure the Mandela effect is real. This fucking thing didn't exist on my proper timeline before the ship. Ain't no way. Neither did Beefalo. That shit's just made up. Yeah, I saw this and I thought it was a weird animal. I didn't remember seeing this when I was younger. It's bizarre, right? Let's look at the beefalo, right? I have heard of the beefalo. I think I heard of that. What is a beefalo? A beefalo? What the hell is a beefalo, right?
Did you wake up?
Constitutes a hybrid offspring of domestic cattle with an American bison. I mean, it does make sense. It's kind of like a liger, right? A lion and a tiger, a liger, a beefalo is a buffalo and a cow. I mean, I don't know if it existed. I never paid attention to something like that, so. But yeah, here we have frozen animals. Meanwhile, in America, this is really sad. Multiple clips now appear and other animals actually being frozen mid-stride.
Wonderful person next to me.
So, usually you need something like negative 30 to 40, you know, in the negative 30s plus to see something like this. And we had, of course, this weird winter storm, which some are wondering about. Is it, of course, natural? It's a good question. Or is it just, it was natural, but then it was amplified? You know, made it a little bit more than what it would have been naturally in a standard situation. We had, of course, this forum meeting recently where they were discussing this. I already covered it on this channel. They were literally caught on mic saying that this stuff exists, that we do clearly modify it. We're talking, of course, the weather. And they had multiple businesses. They were talking about what their business does when it comes to that. And they were talking about like it was completely normal. While they tell us this stuff don't exist whatsoever. Kind of strange. That was happening at the exact same time, that meeting over there in Davos. The exact same time that was happening, we had a massive winter storm in the southern eastern part of the United States. And then we had animals freezing mid-stride, which of course is something you might see in like, you know, Greenland or maybe like Russia or something at the northern parts, right? And so I was like looking around at various videos. I found a lot of really bizarre videos. We're going to get into actually a number of them. We have trees exploding. And, you know, for a while, at first, a lot of people were just thinking these were Sora AI videos. But actually, no, a lot of them are real. And actually, I'm going to get into that. We're going to get into also some other very bizarre things. We got lizards, iguanas being frozen. We got this one here. I'm going to show you this video of several animals frozen standing up all in the same area. Really weird. Then we got weird stuff with the clouds. We got some weird ghost ship and much more. First of all, I got to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. You're going to definitely want to get this if you have not already. See all the wonderful things happening around us, my friends. I'm being sarcastic, of course. 3 months of food supply, $400 free winter preparedness gear, $798 for all of these items, including indoor heater in case your electricity went out. You can use some of the 6-hour canned heat and all the other items. They have water filtration included and much more. Go check it out. Link is in the description. This book here, The Lost Ways, how your great-great-grandfather lived without electricity, how to build a cellar, do things around the house as they did in the old days. Hundreds of pages illustrated. You could definitely need that book before the power goes out. I keep having weird dreams. I don't know about you guys, but I've literally been having them almost every night of recent. And some of them are very prophetic, actually, which is interesting as well. I think we're in a very different time right now. And I feel like the devil has been trying to manipulate our reality, not just via, things put out in social media or on the news, but also literally in the case of the Mandela effect, for example, which of course came out exactly at the time when they fired up CERN for the first time, right? A lot of people have talked about this over the years. We've had scientists from CERN, 2 different ones, talking about how it could theoretically open portals. We had Stephen Hawking warning about it potentially destroying our entire universe because they are playing essentially God with what they're doing. Now, of course, they told us it's all about scientific research. They found things like the God particle. They had ghost particles that they found. It's like kind of weird how everything that's named is named a spiritual name. Ghost particles, God particle. You got a literal false god in front of your device, and it's one that was known to be a destroyer. Not really a good sign, right? But perhaps this is the way. This has something to do with the whole thing, Looking Glass, if you've ever heard of that, where it was a project where they were trying to see the future. They had some sort of technology, and they couldn't change anything after 2012. Perhaps that's why this thing was fired up around then, because then they can manipulate in a different manner instead of trying to change things in the future by modifying things in the present. They were trying to change the future by modifying in a different way the present. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thought process going through all that. I'm not sure what to make of it. But we got so many weird things going on. Perhaps these animals didn't exist at one time in our past. I've seen a lot of weird things. I've talked about it before. Keanu Reeves. I could swear up and down that he was gay. I even saw articles on the internet from the late 90s. Because I was on the internet way back when it first got started. Well, not literally when it got started, but back around 96? I think I was on sort of the internet, which was essentially forums between colleges at that point in time. I remember arguing with atheists back then on there. I even made a website. I started making my first website, I think in 95, 96 on the internet. I still have a copy of it. I put it on my second oldest website, godrules.net, which I started that one in 1998. And I worked on the internet from its very beginning. But I remember seeing articles so old, they're like 90s, on the internet, still around. I don't have it in front of me right now, but saying Keanu Reeves is gay and stuff. I'm like, dude, I knew I was right. Of course, if you ask anybody today, or if you look at the history, he never was. He was married to a woman. How is it I can find an article that says he was from the 90s on the internet? It's really bizarre, right? So I remember watching it on the TV. I remember even this one scene on the TV where he was at some, I don't remember, it was like some sort of, it was some Entertainment Tonight or something. And they were at some wedding, and then they talked about it. It was kind of weird. But, I mean, did this animal exist back in the 90s? For some people's timelines? I don't know. It's kind of weird to think about. Did exploding trees exist back then? So, of course, obviously that is a CCTV at home. But there's actually a lot of videos like this out there. There's tons of them. Here's another one. Check this one out. That's the bark, apparently. Breaking on the tree. Very strange. And a lot of people showing stuff like this.
I'm who you are.
Look at this.
Those who have cared about
I don't
you
remember. I mean,
and wanted
you know what?
was
Like I
best
said, I was in
for you
college
life.
at Michigan
10
Tech.
seconds
I
of
remember
silence.
hearing cracking sounds in the forest, but I never heard about anybody telling me that they were exploding trees. I went to college up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which gets extremely cold. There was one winter, it got to negative 37 degrees Fahrenheit for a short stint, and they actually canceled school. It was the first time in 20 years they canceled it because it was so extreme. They're all very well equipped and prepared to deal with cold temperature up there. They got severe service equipment to deal with all the snow and everything, massive plows and stuff, but I don't remember ever seeing anything like this. I don't remember ever hearing about exploding trees, and I was literally living for 4 years in an area that would do this. But I do remember kind of hearing like crackling sounds in the winter in the forest, or but I guess you could just say that's like branches breaking. Maybe that's not the same thing. I don't know. Maybe it was the same thing and I just didn't realize it. But I don't remember any of them exploding like this. I mean, what the hell is this? You have also falling iguanas. Apparently they fall off trees in Florida when they get too cold, which, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Then you have this one. This is a negative 52 Celsius. What is negative 52 Celsius compared to Fahrenheit? Let me go look. Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yeah, here we are. So let's put negative 52. What is negative 52, man? Oh my goodness, that's insane. That's crazy. So the most, like I said, I was at negative 37, but it was wind chill negative 52 Fahrenheit. This is negative 61. So maybe this is this, I'm guessing this is with the wind chill already added in. Because I can't imagine Russia actually gets to negative 52 without wind chill in Celsius. That's insane. Wait, what was that on the screen? Is that Kazakhstan? Okay, so I've actually been to this country. Yeah, I had an ex-wife in Kyrgyzstan. I might not believe that, but it's true. I had an ex-wife in Kyrgyzstan, which is a small country above China, related to the Mongolians, Genghis Khan. Kazakhstan's above it. This is where Russia's NASA program is essentially. This has got to be wind chill. I can't imagine this is straight up temperature. Look at that, man. No, that sounds like a Kyrgyz talking. It's probably Kazakh. This is a Kazakh talking here. It's not in Russian. Yeah, this is a Kazakh talking. Kazakh is, like I said, they're like Kyrgyz and Kazakh. They're kind of like descendants of Genghis Khan, essentially. They have yurts and stuff, just like the Genghis, just like nomadic life and stuff. Look at that dog, frozen. Yeah, he's not speaking Russian, that's for sure. Look at that, dude. His dog's frozen. Dogs are frozen, man. Just freaking standing there. I'm guessing that's negative 52 with wind chill, so it's probably like negative whatever, 40 or, without. That's insane, dude. That's just crazy cold. That's like at least 10 degrees colder than the closest I've been in. And I'm telling you, I was actually watching a show yesterday. Will Smith, he's got something where he's going around the world and stuff. And he was in Antarctica first. His first stop was in Antarctica. And even Antarctica doesn't even get this cold sometimes. I mean, it does in some cases, it does. But if you go in like the warmer season, it's actually better than this. But when I was in negative 37 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind chill and negative 52, your face instantly hurts the second you go outside. It's not, you don't even have to wait. It's just like, it feels like somebody's slapping you, or it feels kind of like, when you put hot water on your face, it burns, or like has a stinging? It's the same idea, but it's freezing. It's like a sting from freezing, cold air. So you got like an instant freezing, like sting on your face when you go out in this type of weather. And I'm guessing this is even colder than what I've been in, so this might even be worse. It might feel like literally like someone slapping you, or like, imagine putting a piece of ice on your face. That's pretty much probably what it would feel like. The air feels like putting a piece of ice on your face. That's how cold it is. All right. So of course you got these animals freezing, and then we got this weird. What is going on with this clouds? I've seen that before. It's rare. That actually can happen, but it's extremely rare. 2 different layers of laminar flow moving in the same direction. They're either different temperature or speed, both with different amounts of pressure, which mix, making turbulence. Billow cloud and billow cloud. All right. So that's supposedly how it's working. That's how that happens. Now, then we got this here. A massive 100-foot ghost ship floated into Mokilteo Terminal with nobody on board. Let's play this. See if we can get on the screen a little bit better, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so crew for the next boat.
Where is he?
Got ghost ships, exploding trees, animals freezing, standing up. Lots of other weird things going on. They don't know it's 100 foot long. I think it's a 100-foot ghost ship. It just floats right into the bay. Kind of interesting. Or the terminal, I mean. 100-foot crewless ghost boat drifts through ferry terminal. Mokilteo, Washington. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A crewless ghost boat drifted through Mokilteo ferry terminal on December 11th, confusing employees at Washington State Ferries. The ghost boat is a derelict vessel found adrift without a crew, creating hazards on the water and putting other boats at risk. According to Washington State Ferries Transport Service, posted wild video on social media to warn about the dangers of ghost boats and the importance of navigational lights. I'm wondering what happened here. Some are saying it just floated off and came back or something. Which is, I don't know. I guess that's possible, right? But then there was something else that happened as well at the exact same time in the same exact area, according to James LaFleur. Check this out.
The official explanation is that it's a fishing boat that broke loose, but on that same day, something else happened. Something that also involves mysterious bright lights, like the one seen in Patoka Lake, Indiana.
Gente, hay una extraña luz en el cielo de Bogotá. Es un aro verde y en el centro hay como un...
I got the same video here. Let me play that real quick. Actually, I don't know if you got it on the screen. Is this the same guy? I think it is.
2:12 AM, aquí en el Rosal, se presenta.
Look at that. It's like several bars of light. With a circle. I can't understand Spanish, so with a halo around it. Out of focus now. Let's go back here and I'll look. There you go. There it is. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars of light of some sort. There was also other footage that made it even more detailed. Let's see if he gets it on the screen. I think there's multiple videos he shows. Let's see what he shows here.
The same day a ghost ship pops up in the Pacific side in Washington State, hundreds of people witnessed this portal-like phenomenon in the sky 4,000 miles south in Bogota, Colombia.
Oh, that's weird. So it's in 2 places at the same time. That's so weird. So the same exact thing was seen in both places. Oh, that's weird. It's like a portal. Is it moving? No, it's not moving. Oh, this is great. It's got that sound like the those enemy ships on Tron. I don't know what's going on there. That's probably just the sound effects they had. Maybe they got it from Tron. I don't know. Yeah. So of course you have that going on, and so these two different locations, Washington State, and what was the other one? It was in South America. What did he say? Colombia or something? I don't remember what he said. Where was it at? Here it is.
Ship pops up in the Pacific side in Washington State. Hundreds of people witnessed this portal-like phenomenon in the sky, 4,000 miles south.
Yeah, Colombia. So, in two different locations, the same sort of halo with weird blind object in the center, with also this ghost ship showing up at the exact same time. Very bizarre. Anyway, I'm kind of wondering what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.
King Shogun Productions.
the Cartlet door. The Cartlet door. I'm serious. He's dope. It's like an image of a glass man. You can't really see him. So we gonna roll with that.
Jet Set Radio.